JVC has improved their Frame Adapt HDR dynamic tone mapping with their latest version, Frame Adapt 2. Frame Adapt 2 will be available on November 15th through the new 3.0 firmware. I want to give a big thanks to JVC for providing me with early access to the beta version to test on my NZ8. In this video, I'll show you 2 exciting new features that version 3.0 has to offer, and we'll look at a side-by-side comparison to see if we can see any changes to the overall image quality, so be sure to stick around till the very end. Now I'll have links to where you can download the firmware down in the description below. Now I've already downloaded the zip file of the firmware to my computer, unzipped that, and copied that folder onto an empty flash drive. Inserted the flash drive into the service port on the rear of the JVC and turned it back on. Once the projector is booted up, we'll go into the menu, navigate over to the 5th option right here, and we'll come all the way down to software update. Click OK. It asks if we want to upgrade from version 2.1 to 2.54, and we'll go ahead and click yes. Now this is going to start a series of processes. It'll take a little bit. You'll see some flashing lights on your projector, and eventually the projector will turn off. Once it turns off completely, we know that the firmware update is finished, and we just want to make sure that all lights on the projector are turned off as well. This is going to take a while, so I'll just go ahead and fast forward through this portion. The projector just turned off, and so that means that the firmware has been updated. Make sure you remove the thumb drive from the rear of the unit before powering it back on. I'm going to go ahead and power it back on, and while it's doing that, I actually have the version 2.54. This is a beta version that was sent to me in advance, and so on the 15th of this month, you'll have the opportunity to download the full 3.0 version. So now that the projector is booted back up, let's go back into the menu. From here, we'll come down to more settings and click OK. If we come down to LD power on the previous firmware, if you had firmware 2.10, you would have seen low, medium, and high. So now with firmware version 3.0, you'll now see a slider that goes from 0 to 100. If you want your laser light source to be high, leave it at 100. If you would have set it to medium, that'd be around 46%. And if you preferred it set to low, you would lower this all the way down to 0. 0 would represent 50% brightness, 46 would represent 75% brightness, and 100 would represent 100% brightness. I prefer mine set to high, so I'm going to turn this back up to 100. Now, one great feature that we've all been wanting is the ability to save our presets and export those to a thumb drive. Now with version 3.0, we do have that feature and availability. So to get there, we'll click back again. We'll head over to the 5th tab up at the top. And now you'll see an option down here that says backup settings. We'll click OK. And now you can see you can export your settings or import settings that you've saved on a previous thumb drive. So on the back of the projector, once again, you'll insert a thumb drive. We'll click export settings, and it says, do you want to export your settings? And of course we do, so I'll click yes. And it's that quick, and we'll click OK to finish. And if you had settings that you wanted to import, we would come down to import settings, hit OK. It's going to give you a warning that import settings will erase all the current settings, so we click OK, and it's going to give you one final opportunity to either accept that or back out. So in this case, we don't need to import settings, so I'll click no. So now let's do a side-by-side comparison to see if we can notice any differences between the original Frame Adapt and Frame Adapt version 2. Now for some reason you'll notice that my camera pretty much tends to make this green look almost fluorescent. That is not the case, and the same thing with the red. There's a lot more red push from my Canon R6 than what I actually see with my eyes in my theater room. Now I absolutely love my JVC NZ8. It's got an absolutely beautiful image and it's much brighter than my previous NX7. Now overall, honestly, I really didn't notice any difference between FrameAdapt 1 and FrameAdapt version 2. JVC says that the main area that you'll notice it is in really bright areas that have high nit values. Now the great thing about the firmware updates is they are free, and so that gives you additional functionality and features as well as improved performance. I absolutely love what JVC is doing in the home theater space. If you're interested in a JVC projector, I'll have links to several models down in the description below. Hope you guys have an incredible week. God bless, and we will catch you in the next video.